McDonald's. I don't think any food company, any fast food company has been hated and loved so much. I mean, obviously if they have that many stores, thousands and thousands of stores worldwide, people like them. But just as many people hate McDonald's, and it's notorious for having so many food additive scares and food quality scares. But one of them in particular, it's kind of an interesting question I get a lot. Does McDonald's cause cancer? Let's take a look at some of the ingredients in Chicken McNuggets. What's up everyone, this is Alex Hine over at modernhealthmonk.com. Today we're taking a look at what's actually in Chicken McNuggets, as far as McDonald's tells us. To me, honestly, there's no doubt that some food companies hide the truth. I'm sure we're gonna find more and more that many of them are concealing the truth regarding what their food additives are. But based on McDonald's site, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Here's what they said is in their Chicken McNuggets. So check this out for a sec. Really, the only things I want you to take a look at here, I'm going to address three of the main additives. The first is TBHQ. The next one is hydrogenated soybean oil. And the next one is sodium acid pyrophosphate. So let's take a look at these now and what potential negative effects I've dug up on what they can do to your body. TBHQ is typically something that's used to keep food fresh. And again, one of the big problems with us having shelved food or any food that has to kind of preserve itself, whether it's frozen or whether it's packaged, it has to have additives to keep it shelf stable. So check out TBHQ here from ToxNet. What it says is, human exposure and toxicity. There have been reports of vision disturbances in individuals exposed to the chemical. Animal studies. Rats fed TBHQ in the diet caused liver enlargement. Acute neurotoxic effects of animals exposed to TBHQ include convulsions, medullary paralysis. And according to ToxNet, they did a toxicology and carcinogenicity study, and they found that exposed to this TBHQ in feed for 2 years, there was no evidence of carcinogenic activity. Now, hang on there for just a second before we go on. Check out that hydrogenated soybean oil now. So let's see what's actually in, what the deal is with hydrogenated oils in particular, because I covered this recently, and I went through loads and loads of stuff regarding what it does to your body. So in this video I covered recently, actually, there were 5 really bad things that all hydrogenated oils do to your body. So really these hydrogenated vegetable oils. So check these out. So the top 5 were, number 1, increasing LDL, your bad cholesterol. And I think in one of the studies, it just increased total cholesterol. The second was causing inflammation and hardening of your arteries. That's bad. The third was showing a potential correlation with colorectal cancer risk. Fourth was being strongly linked to heart disease. And the fifth was increasing your risk of heart attack and just your overall risk of dying. So that's what hydrogenated oils do. Again, I'm going to link up below to that as well. There's no sense in me repeating it. That's the second one, hydrogenated soybean oil. Now the third is called sodium acid pyrophosphate. Let's take a look at some of these. And again, phosphates are also added to soda. And there's another interesting reason why soda damages your enamel, which is because of the phosphates. If you've ever noticed how there's a lot of young kids these days that have very stained and discolored teeth, even though there's no reason why they should have that when they're young, but it's really the sugar and the phosphate consumption. So phosphoric acid acidifies and also flavors Cokes and colas and that kind of thing. And again, that removes tooth enamel. But what about some of these other things we talked about? Now, what you might find really interesting is that sodium acid pyrophosphate is actually added to French fries to reduce the levels of a carcinogen, so a cancer-causing agent called acrylamide. Now, this is actually used to offset that, but there are other uses for it as well. It also prevents discoloration of certain liquids, and it helps with canned goods as well. So again, it's another preserving agent, but that's kind of creepy that it's used to prevent a carcinogen occurring in your French fries. Now, probably chicken nuggets are preserved or produced very similarly, so there's something kind of scary going on there. And then another study done on phosphates. Again, there are many different phosphate additives in our food chain. Found that phosphates could lead to dietary imbalances, including osteoporosis, long-term consumption. And that's typically from meat and processed foods. So those are the 3 main ingredients we looked at, the TBHQ, sodium acid pyrophosphate, as well as the hydrogenated soybean oil. Now, does that mean McDonald's or chicken nuggets is cancerous? No, but you be the judge, right? Some of those things don't sound too good to me, and we know the negative effects of hydrogenated oils. And we know that, generally speaking, it's okay to buy cheap things, but the one thing I would never buy cheap is food. Because again, food quality is going to be impacted by its price. If it's cheap food, by default, they're not going to pay for high quality ingredients because they can't justify the cost. So be very careful, especially if you like fast food, because chances are it's an industry widespread practice. So consider this just for a moment before you go to the next fast food chain. Now, does it cause cancer? No one can definitively say that. But again, you be the judge. It's your body. Use the precautionary principle. If you aren't sure, just avoid it. Like anything in the health and wellness space, if you aren't sure if something's good for you, run the hell away and figure it out later, because you don't want to have to worry about that with your body. We have enough things to worry about in the freaking air, in the water, in the food, and everything else. So that's the deal at McDonald's. Those are the three at least I could dig up. And again, those were just for chicken McNuggets. Who knows about the rest of this stuff, right? That's where we are. So today's tiny habit is really simple. Just be aware that these additives are in your food if you're going out to fast food places or certain restaurants. Just be aware of them. These additives, including MSG, dyes, natural flavors, which no one really knows what those are. Again, the FDA kind of stretches that label. Just be aware that these things are there. And again, the biggest safeguard is just eating real food that you yourself have cooked. That's really the only foolproof way to know what's going in your food and what the quality is of your food. So I hope that helps. Make sure you go on over to modernhealthmonk.com if you're on YouTube. I've got a free real food weight loss habits guide for you there. All my content is really only on Modern Health Monk. There's so much stuff there. Make sure you go on over, join the email list. Subscribe on YouTube. I'll give you the next video right when it's out. And leave a comment below. I mean, have you been afraid of these kinds of things at McDonald's? And if so, what have you done about it? Do you still eat there? Do you limit your time? Is there one thing you just get now? Tell me below. Thanks so much. Take care, and I'll see you next time.